Sup nerds, I'm Tom.
I'm Wes.
Journeys Afar is an open-world sandbox game that is really, really good. No joke in this intro. It's awesome.
Fantastic.
Before we get started, there's two caveats. First is, obviously, this is a prototype. We don't even have really a box for it. So, minor little things could change, but overall, believe what we say.
And second off, we want to give a big thank you to our channel sponsor, GameToppers. They are the table we are filming on right now. We even have the Ryan Lockett playmat instead of our regular red playmat because it kind of fit the feel of this game so well. They are fantastic. Their tabletops are incredible. We love their playmats. You definitely got to check them out.
So like I said earlier, Journeys Afar is a sandboxy open world game where you're going to get one world per player. If you're playing with two players, you're going to have a third, I don't want to say dummy world, but just sort of uninhabited world where you can move around and interact with the different spaces on the boards themselves. But then there are also, what are these guys called? Travelers that you can interact with. There's Ronin that you can fight. There's you're going to have an encounter at the end of every single one of your turns. So it is open world and sandboxy, but it's also very narrative in what you're doing too.
And I like an open world game where you could just go anywhere, do anything. There's points all over the place, and it is kind of a race to 15 points. Whoever gets there first triggers the end of the game. But there's also an alternate win condition where each player starts with your own personal journey, and that's especially for players who aren't well versed in open world games or sandboxy games that you kind of need a direction. It gives you one, and each character has their own story they go on, and they actually have like multiple different stories per character. So even if you're playing the same character again, your journey can be a totally different journey to give you tons of replayability, more thematics. But it really is a story. It's a card. It's a story that you read, and then you have like missions to accomplish for that story. And when you finish those missions, you have an encounter, a special encounter at the end of it, and then you go to the next card where your story continues, and you have some kind of mission that you're going on to accomplish and fulfill your character's journey.
And speaking of encounters, you have an encounter at the end of every one of your turns. On your turn, you're going to spend effort. You basically have like action tokens that you can use to move, to interact with the board, to fight the Ronin, and do all the cool things. And you can even spend them to add more dice to your rolls whenever you need to do tests or fights, which is a really cool mechanic. But then at the end of every turn, you're going to reset all of those action tokens and then have an encounter. And some of those encounters could be fights or tests or whatever. So you could even spend like your action tokens, your effort is what they're called. You could spend your effort to get more dice for those encounter actions, those encounter tests or fights. But then, you're just a little bit slower on the next turn, but hey, you might want to do that. But you're going to have a narrative choice to make every single turn, right? That is in addition to...
You don't have a choice every turn.
Yeah, sure, that's true.
Some encounters are a fight. Some encounters are you stumble upon a situation and you say, do you want to fight them? Do you want to help them? Do you want to give them a gift? Do you want to just leave them alone? Some encounters are... a thing happens and you get a benefit, or you get a penalty, or everyone at the table may get a benefit, or everyone at the table may interact in like a mini bid. There's all kinds of things. You never really know what's coming up in the encounter deck.
Sorry, a lot of them are choices.
A lot of them are choices.
Every turn you're going to get some narrative piece to add to the story that you're building in this world, is what I should have said.
I do want to make sure we explained the effort tokens in detail, because that is one of the really cool things about this game, where in a lot of other open world sandboxy games, it's like you have 3 action points and it's, you spend a whole turn moving. And this, you start off with 6 effort tokens that you can spend to move, or you could spend to interact with something. You can spend to have an encounter. Each map has like some unique areas you can visit, and almost mini games or mini challenges based on the maps out there. So you can allocate 6, and those grow as well. You can gain up to 8 of those effort tokens, and that really helps the game progress. Like, I feel like the turns go fairly quickly, but you never really feel like you have a turn where you're just, well, this turn I'm just moving, next turn I'm moving, so that I can do this thing I want to do.
So like we said earlier, this is open world, but you're going to have one world per player in the game, and the worlds all have different like flavors and different feels. Like there's this monk that's blind and adds blindness tokens or darkness tokens to other areas on the board where it can hurt other players, but it's good for him. This turtle guy has ancients that he can sort of give offerings to and get rewards from. There's even, like, we actually have sort of a truncated prototype that doesn't have all of the worlds. As you can see, we don't even have a box for it here. But one of the ones that we got to play previously at Gen Con has like this little like cube tower thing where you drop stuff down, and where it drops on is the rewards that you're going to get for that. It's kind of going to be a different game every time you play, because you can play like a 3-player game and play with all these worlds, and then play a 3-player game again and play with none of the worlds you played before, and then play a 3-player game and play with a big mix, or play a 4-player game with a bunch, like, there's tons of, like, the way that they interact is going to be different every game, and you have tons of options, replayability there, and the character that you get from that world, like Wes said, has 3 different options for their quest thing, so you could play with the same 3 worlds again, and then all have different quests that you have to do.
And with those quests, like, that's your main journey you're going on, but there's tons of other quests you can encounter in the game where you could totally win this game, and as you actually play it and get better at it, you'll probably find you don't even focus on your main journey that much, because there's so many other quests out there, so many other things to do to get you a lot of points, where you have that direction if you need it. And if you love sandboxy games, you could just totally ignore your personal journey and just go out and find points and make your own way. Become your own person.
Right there, we were kind of saying quest and journey interchangeably. You have a personal journey, and then you have quests that you can get that are like mini goals as well. So we were using them interchangeably. They're not, but they're both in the game. You have the big bad boys that you start with, and then you can get, I mean, you're limited to 2, but they can still
2 at a time. You can do those 2 and keep getting more and more.
But you can definitely pull off some big combos where what you need on the little quest that you've got, what you're trying to do on your journey, and a thing that is, right, all get you legend points. Like, I just did one where I, like, did a thing that let me gain legend points just by interacting with one of these travelers, and then that completed the goal I had on my quest, which also completed the thing that I had on my journey. Like, so there's, like, legend points. It's a race to 15, if that's your way to win, right? It's either a race to that or finishing your journey. 15, you're like, oh, that sounds like a long game. Not really.
Yeah, because
like,
you can get 4,
there.
5, hell, even 6.
You can be second, you can be third, fourth, hell, you can even be 5th.
There's also, like, kind of, like Vantage has, there's a reserve of cards where specific encounters give you very specific cards. So there's not 17,000 cards, 1,700 cards like Vantage has, but there are also some very, like, specific, like, do this thing, get this reward, or encounter this person. So I appreciated that as well, that there is, it's not just totally random narrative. There are specific narrative paths you can go down that lead to specific results.
Since you brought that up, there's 2 games that we played and reviewed somewhat recently, which are Vantage and Above and Below Haunted, that I'll compare this to because they both have narrative aspects. Whereas I think Above and Below Haunted is a very much a Euro mechanic resource heavy game with a little bit of narrative sprinkled on top. And I think Vantage is a purely narrative game with a little bit of mechanics sprinkled on top. I would say that this, I think it falls in the middle and then tips 5-10% towards Above and Below Haunted.
I would say that because there's so many mechanics, you are playing a game. Whereas we said in our Vantage review that, like, the mechanics of the game feel like it's there, so you're playing a game, but realistically, the point of the game is your story. In this game, you are absolutely playing a game. There's resource management. You're going and you're mining and you're finding resources, which is also a really cool aspect of the game. But because you're guaranteed an encounter every single turn, where in Above and Below you could play half the game having never gone down below to have that encounter. And which is actually one of my biggest complaints with Above and Below is that I wish there was more narrative encounter experiences, which this game absolutely has.
This isn't a review of Above and Below. Every world, while they have their differences and their different rules and their special areas that you can go to, they all have certain buildings that you're always going to be able to go to. Like, you're always going to be able to go to the market and get more weapons and items and one-time abilities that can help you out. You're always going to be able to go to the shrine to get more spirits that can help you out, either give you more help you out during the game or give you extra legend points. Because while it is a race to the 15, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win, because people could have other endgame scoring things that can push them, past you. It is cool to know that every world is going to have... You're going to still be able to do the things that you need to do, but then there's going to be, again, other twists and extra abilities and stuff that you can get there as well.
Speaking of the worlds, I don't think we talked about this yet, or maybe we alluded to it. You can actually travel between worlds as well. So it's definitely not this is my world and I'm playing a solo game and he's playing a solo game, because you can discover gates in your world that lets you visit other worlds as well. So the travelers are moving around between other worlds. The Ronin, as you're encountering, and he's moving around the worlds, but you are also going into your opponent's world, and if you're playing a 2-player game, the kind of the third extra world, because there's even like on your journey, there are things that push you to go to other places. So it's definitely not a game where like, this is my board and this is where I play. You are going all over the place to have encounters, collect things, meet up with other people, and gain fate through those encounters with other players.
And that flavor that all the different worlds have is not just on that world board, because if you, like, let's say if we're going to play with this Memory, right? It's not just I get this board and here's the special rules for it. It's this is how you're going to add these cards to the encounter deck, these cards to the market deck, these cards to the spirit deck. Like, the only ones that are sort of neutral all the time are going to be the travelers. That's actually how you make the encounter deck and the quest deck and the spirit. Like, there is no neutral encounter deck. You're going to grab these 3 decks from these 3 worlds that you're playing with and shuffle them together, and that's the encounter deck you're playing with. So you're always going to get a little bit of the flavor from each of the worlds in every like aspect of a thing that you're doing in it. Yeah,
even like the Memory we're talking about, there's a place we could all go there and encounter that big ancient. On Hirobi, you add darkness to all the maps. On Hansha, you add, that's the glass world, you add extra glass resources to the bags. That is a more prolific. It's a more prolific resource in the game.
And there's more glass cards in the market that you can buy.
Yeah, so just however you build your world, it does like permeate throughout the entire area of the board, the entire game.
So if you can't tell, we had a really good time with this game, and it's very much up our alley type of thing. It's not too long, not too complicated, honestly, and I think it's pretty family friendly.
Yeah.
I don't know what the age ranges are, because again, don't have a box, but I really feel like this is something that Wes's oldest kid is 8.
Yeah, 8.
I feel like he is a board game genius. He's born of the cloth, okay? Wait, hang on, let me think about it. What was it?
Born in it.
Yeah, what's that whole quote? We merely adopted the board games. He was born in it, okay? But I do think that he could, any game that he has a little bit of help, right?
Yeah.
Like, if there's a lot of, like, hidden information...
he can play it.
He can play it.
He wouldn't win.
And that's true. He would crush him. Crush his soul.
But with that, the other thing, there's a lot of humor. Like, sprinkled into this game. In, like, the encounters, there's a lot of encounters where, like, you get to eat things. And, like, you can go to a temple and you find noodles. And do you eat the noodles you find? Do you find a demon baby? Do you save the demon baby or do you try to kill it? Only to find out it's only an ugly baby.
Okay, too many spoilers. If any of what we were talking about in this video sounds interesting to you, we're going to put a link to the campaign in the description box. Again, this is for people who really like narrative, open world, choose your own adventure, do whatever you want style games in a mostly family-friendly setting.
But also, it is very much a game as well. It is not overly narrative where you're not actually playing a game. There's tons of resource management, economy, it's like, not pick up and deliver, but like things, go get these things to do these things.
Yeah.
It's a perfect blend of narrative experience and board game. And
Absolutely.
The art is beautiful on top of all of that. So definitely, this is a Kickstarter that you want to be on. You also want a Game Topper to play it on. Again, they are our channel sponsors. We love them. There'll be a link down below the Kickstarter link where you can check out Game Toppers.
But the other thing that's going to be down there that you definitely need to hit, it's the subscribe button. If you subscribe to our channel, then you'll
never be bored.
Boom. I would like to introduce you to the Emperor's Tantrum. 2 times in a row, it's been right on top of the deck. Okay.